What up, viewers? What up? What up? Today is Friday, June 21st, and as always, I'd like to do a quick recap of what happened in the video game news this week. Time to start it off. Today, is it today? Yesterday? Yesterday was the launch of Harry Potter Go. Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Yes, the Harry Potter augmented reality game Harry Potter Wizards Unite launched recently. I don't know exactly when, because I'm bad at my job. So it launched recently. There is a lot of stuff being going on, but it is still fresh. Not a lot of like reviews or anything like that. One of the things I have heard about it is that I haven't downloaded it yet or started playing it. Not because of any negative reasons. I'm typically not a mobile gamer. Maybe that'll be correct. Maybe that'll be instilled in me by all the friends that I have screaming and telling me to play this game. So I've got at least friendly reactions as being positive. But one of the reviews I did see said that it was Pokemon Go, but without all the growing pains. And I remember when Pokemon Go first started, there was a lot of crashing issues and servers, and it doesn't seem like that is going on. Server issues, and it doesn't seem like that's going on currently. The game seems super deep, whereas Pokemon Go was just walking around collecting Pokemon, which you would expect from a Pokemon-like experience. Harry Potter seems to have a class system, seems to have quests. I've heard about the pedometer doesn't quite work, but other than that, game seems to be off to a good start. I've got a lot of friend codes coming my way, so I apparently have to get on it so that I can run around and collect confoundables with my friends. But I wonder if we'll see a big Harry Potter craze like we saw for Pokemon Go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the world reacts to that. The one thing I will say is that most things have been, or most I've heard about it is all word of mouth. Even a little internet digging hasn't brought up very much. Yeah, so just not seeing very much, in the news. Not a big push on that end. But hopefully it's off to a good start. Moving on. A couple things. It is the week after E3, and so there's a couple things that were post E3 falling action. One of which was GameStop announced the big pre-orders coming out of E3. The top 10 pre-orders coming out of most games pre-ordered at E3 or after E3 were Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk 2077, Borderlands 3, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Gears 5, Super Mario Maker 2, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So that was the top 10 list. All of those, as you would expect, all of those are games with confirmed launch dates. A lot of the analytics I did at E3, there were a lot of games that had very nebulous release dates of Q1 2020 all the way to just 2020 at the end of the trailers. So you can see that a lot of these games, I feel like some of these games would have been there regardless of E3. Call of Duty, Borderlands, Crash, Super Mario Maker. I feel like those all would have been good pre-order titles in any given week at GameStop, but the fact that it was E3 pushed a bunch of other stuff to the top of the list as well. Yeah, that would be... I don't know if I would say those were the biggest games at E3, considering Call of Duty wasn't even at E3. But yeah, I think most of those are kind of line up. I think Cyberpunk was the game of the show. I didn't really get to respond on last Friday. I was quite busy, so I didn't get really to do a post-E3 analysis on my news report to you guys. But yeah, I definitely think that Cyberpunk was game of the show, followed closely by Final Fantasy VII, at least from what I was seeing on social media. And then I'm really excited for the Legend of Zelda, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, but in development doesn't really give me a hope that I'll see that game in the next year or two. So I do think that game's a little bit further out, but I am excited for that game because Breath of the Wild 2 is, as you know, the greatest game ever made. A little joke about the Metacritic score and a lot of hype around that, but I do think it is a very good game, and I'm almost sincere when I say I think it's the greatest game ever made. But I'm biased towards Zelda games. Speaking of social media, Twitter also put out their big hits of E3. I think they were more focused on like the press conferences, like which press conference got the most buzz. And the top of the list was Microsoft with Keanu Reeves and Cyberpunk. Keanu Reeves is the internet's boyfriend, and he just came out. He rocked it. He's a chill guy. We've seen him everywhere. He's John Wick. Yeah, he just came out onto the E3 press conference for Microsoft, and he just blew it out of the water. It was amazing. I wasn't there. I did go to the Microsoft conference last year when CDP took over the end of the conference, and that was super exciting. And I think they topped it this year with Keanu Reeves coming out. He was just crazy. Everybody super excited about it. So good job on Microsoft for knocking that out of the park, and CDP for getting Keanu Reeves. Who came in second? Nintendo came in second. So last year, I think those were swapped. I think Nintendo had the big title last year with Smash Bros. People lost their shit when they saw Smash Bros. Last year, followed closely by CDP. And then this year, that was flipped to CDP was the big thing this year, followed by Nintendo. Most of the things people were talking about for Nintendo were, oh god, hold on one second. The big things that Nintendo was talking about, were crap. Oh, Breath of the Wild 2, duh. Why did I even look that up? Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, awesome game. Everybody's speculating on when they'll see it. When will we get to play that game? A lot of the fact that they've done a direct sequel to a game is something very new for Nintendo. So excited to see what they do with it. A lot of the assets look very similar. Are we getting Ganondorf? I know a lot of people were missing Ganondorf in the last Breath of the Wild game, so the fact that it kind of looks like Ganondorf in this one, although depending on how big of a Zelda timeline nerd you are, you might think that Ganondorf isn't in this timeline, but you know, I want to see Ganondorf, so I don't really care about the technical lore aspect of it. I just hope that we get a Ganondorf. And then followed closely behind Nintendo was Square Enix with their Final Fantasy VII remake. Everybody was talking about that, as well as speculation on Marvel Avengers, whatever they're going to do with that. Not a lot of gameplay was shown during the presentation, but there was a behind-the-scenes demo, or behind closed-door demo that some people got to get their hands on. Yeah, so those were the top three coming out of Twitter, who posted about their the big trends coming out of E3. Moving on, Baldur's Gate 3 had a not a leak, but a tease this week that Larian Studios teased that Minsk and Boo, the fan favorite characters from Borderlands 2, Minsk being a purple tattooed warrior barbarian, and his giant miniature space hamster Boo is also, so they just put out an image, but I think people are saying that Minsk and Boo are going to be in the game, and that's what the fans want. I want more Minsk, and I especially want more Boo. But these were two fan favorite characters from the second Baldur's Gate game, so I am excited to see what they do with him in this game. And Boo. Moving on, Gears announced that they were going to do no random loot boxes, no season pass, and free map DLC. The one question I have out of this is, what is a non-random loot box? Because when you have to speculate on the different types of loot boxes, I think you're messing with your messages here, and that's intentionally muddy. But yeah, what is a non-random loot box? What do they mean when they say non-random loot? No random loot boxes. I don't know what that means, but when you have to speculate like that, then it kind of grinds to a halt your messaging of no, we're not doing that bad thing. They also put out a trailer for their map builder, so PvP people can build maps, which any way that you can get more players to be able to expand on the content, I think is always good. Sometimes it can be bad because the content that fans make aren't typically as good as what the developers can make. But you know, when a player has already churned through all of the content the developer has made, then they can play some fan-made stuff if they still want to engage with the game. I think it's always smart. That, like, map builders and photo modes, I just think should be in like every video game ever, because it just gives people ways to share. One of the things that you get with like a map creator is you can get players. Players can put more time into a map than a developer might be able to, based on monetary limitations. So you can kind of like mind share really good ideas and get that feedback from your community, and then sometimes I've seen the developer take a really good fan idea and then like bring it in house and develop it themselves. But yeah, Gears of War 5 will be launching with a map editor or map builder, and I think it's a great idea. Just like I think photo modes in games are a great idea. Not to get too political, but Bernie Sanders has talked about one of the hot topics in gaming/politics. Game unions have been talked about, I think, for at least I've been hearing about them for at least 6 months now. I don't know if it's happening in other countries, but the idea of the gaming industry being unionized around, to eliminate crunch, because that's been something that's been a negative thing negative sentiment driver coming out of the gaming industry for quite some time, especially with all of the Red Dead Redemption 2, I think, kind of keyed things off with the fact that they had crunch, and they talked about it, and people then became more and more aware, and have been kind of hyper vigilant on any stories about crunch in the game industry. And so the hope would be that some kind of gaming union would eliminate that, and then with the continued growth of games as a service or continuously live games, the idea that development is so much more difficult than it was when it was just launch a title and move on. So trying to get unions to help those people, maintain a work-life balance, or get a little bit more bang for their buck, to continue to work on these like live titles, could be interesting. And so that's what Bernie Sanders came out this week and talked about it, and it could be a good idea, but it depends on execution, because not gonna get too political. So moving on. This week, as with like a lot of weeks, I think I've seen PlayStation Plus at a reduced price for like once a month. I think I've talked about it on here at least once a month. This week it is $36. You have to go to a site called Mass Genie. I'll have a link to all of this down below. You have to type in a code and you get PS Plus for $36. I've seen it for $40. I think it's usually $60, so these kind of like half off deals are really good. There'll probably be another one, but $36 is a pretty good deal for 12 months of content. So yeah. And then last but certainly not least, there have been a bajillion articles that I've read talking about PC gaming deals on Amazon this week. I think I saw some Cool Master cases. I think I saw some Corsair keyboards. I'll have a link to just like general deals, but I've seen a bunch of them this week. So if you're looking for PC gaming supplies, maybe this summer I'll make a new PC. I've been talking about making a new PC for quite some time, so maybe I'll finally pull the trigger on that with some of these deals that are happening. So yeah, check them out in the links below. And yeah, lots of stuff. Hopefully that was a good enough recap of the week. Let me know if there's anything you thought I missed, or anything you would want me to elaborate or talk about further. I've had a couple good conversations in the comment section with a couple people, so yeah, any kind of feedback is definitely appreciated. If you're watching this on my YouTube, it's probably Saturday, because that's when I load these up, or you can watch them whenever you want, which is great. A like goes a long way, a subscribe goes a long way, trying to build those numbers up. If you're watching this live with me on Friday on my Twitch channel, a follow goes a long way, and a subscribe, a Twitch Prime, you know how to do it. Twitch Prime goes a long way as well. I've got a couple subs, and I'm trying to go up to my next emote is at 15 subs. So any Twitch Primes out there, I greatly appreciate it. It doesn't cost you a thing, and all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, or your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, and then you can subscribe for free once a month, and it doesn't auto renew. So that was my first ever shell out for Amazon Prime, or Twitch Prime. So hope you're using that on at least someone's, hopefully this one, but at least use it as once a month, non-auto renew. Goes a long way to help small content creators like me. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a super day. Hope you have a super weekend. And hope you have a super day. Thanks, and bye!